So here's what appears to be the final update, the conclusion to this video story I've been covering for the last week and a half, which is titled, Wife Thought She Hid Cheating on Bachelor Weekend Until Her Social Media Addiction Blew Her Cover. And guys, I'm not going to do a recap because you all know what happened here, but I will say I'll reflect on the last video where the wife chimed in. The wife obviously found out that the husband had posted his story, had thousands of comments from people all over the world, and she went in to share her whole story for a ridiculously long video, which you all saw, where essentially she was sharing her side of the story with lots of excuses. She claimed she wasn't making excuses, but she was making excuses for her actions there. And while I did say one issue she had with him was warranted, he was gone all the time, and understandably, she felt like she was a roommate neglected. Fair enough. Still, didn't justify her actions. So here we are with the conclusion. And for those of you who've been taking bets or trying to speculate how this is going to end, well, some of you are going to be right and some of you are going to be wrong. And let's just say that this will not surprise some of you. However, and before I get into this will definitely be a teaching moment about various subjects. And I want to point out that she wrote this update. So, says here, hi everyone, I am going to post an update for both of us, and then we are going to get off Reddit for a while. Uh-oh, why isn't the husband posting the update? Maybe the husband doesn't want to type an update because he's about to get the wrath of God upon him. She says, so as crazy as this has gotten, I just got off the phone with a producer for a relatively famous relationship podcast who wants me and my husband to come on and talk about what has been going on these past few weeks and how it's been like. My husband and I have been talking, and we did consider it first. After some consideration, we both had come to the conclusion that not only should we have not gotten the podcast, we probably need to take this out of the public eye entirely. I know he didn't expect his initial post to blow up like it did, let alone his second. I never expected to get so much traction on my follow-ups. Come on, yes you did. That's why I was done. We've gotten so many generally thoughtful and helpful comments from people who obviously care about the lives of two strangers. Well, for what I've read, it doesn't sound very helpful to me in terms of they're-thering you and let's fix things. If we end up staying together, and I'm going to be honest and optimistic and say that I think we will, there are a few of you who had the perfect words at the perfect time. I hope that we have both thanked you personally, but if not, please know that I will be eternally grateful. Some of you gave me some tough love, which is what I needed to hear. Some of you gave him some advice, though, about communicating with me, and he followed through. Again, a deepest thank you. Again, gentlemen, you see where this is going. So, pretty much, her giant sob story, it worked. As is so many times. The waterworks start, the justification. At the end of the day, she cheated. Yes, he wasn't paying attention to her. He was working all the time and providing a great lifestyle for her and the family. I think he was taking all these volunteer things. And I understood that she was feeling neglected. Okay. And I had no issue with her saying, could you scale back with something like the volunteer stuff so maybe they can go on a date once a week? I got no problem with that. And obviously he wasn't listening and overreacting a little bit about that whole thing at the airport with the check and all that. Again, if this was truthful. But they didn't justify what she did. They didn't justify the fact that you all heard the story. And none of you guys, I read countless comments you guys had, as did me. I didn't believe a lot of what she was saying. I think a lot more happened on that trip. But I think what's happening is that they just want to sweep it under the rug and pretend nothing happened and we can come out stronger. And, well, let me finish this, and I just had to say that now. Obviously, we have a path ahead of us, and neither one of us know where it's going to go. We both have agreed to meet with a mediation team tomorrow. He did file separation paperwork last week, so we need to meet with the legal side of the team to figure out how to proceed with that. We also agreed that we will approach the counseling side with an open mind, but with the hopes of reconciling. Things may change, of course, but I'm not willing to look down to the movie of our life for 20 years from now and say I didn't fight for someone I truly love. And I know in his heart he truly loves me. Yeah, we all know how well you fought for the person you truly love by your activities in Mexico. We had a really nice conversation this afternoon, and he said that he isn't so mad at me for what happened in that room. Smack! Are you out of your mind, bro? This is why I didn't write the update, because guys would tear him apart in the comment section. According to her, this dude went down on her, and then he was ready to spray his love juice on her, according to her. I don't buy that was the only thing that happened. Not to mention them hanging out and her going radio silent from you, amongst other things. Come on, bro. I get you don't want a divorce. It's a big mess and hurt the kids and all. But no, this is... And by the way, I, at the end of the last video, said there's probably a reason why he has been distancing himself from her for years. That he's filling up all his time with work and projects and volunteer work. That speaks major, actions speak louder than words. We had a really nice conversation this afternoon. I read that part. He is mad at me because me being so naive and me being so trusting has gotten me into so many of these situations. I'm lucky I got away with it, and it too so long before we finally went bad. No, she's not that naive. Come on, women know. Women know darn well when guys are buying them this and buying them that and come back to my room and come on here. He feels like I never listened to him, and because I'm a balloon head, trust me, it sounds sweeter than when he says it than it looks like when I type it. He's terrified that there may be a day where he has to tell the kids that I won't be their mom anymore because I trusted someone when I shouldn't have. At 32, I've got a lot of growing up to do. Yeah, you do have a lot of growing up to do, and you're getting away scot-free because you put on the biggest crybaby fest ever. And 32, remember, he said that she was like addicted to social media, like everything in her life, from buying her daily latte or drink at the coffee shop to anything else she put on social media. One of those types that are losers. Anybody that has to broadcast everything they do in life on social media is a fucking loser. SSM, that means you're a loser because you put videos up every day. No, I do this because this is a business and I like helping guys out. That's different. You don't see me putting things on Instagram, with the cats, or buying my cup of joe at Dunkin' Donuts, or, ooh, look, there's a bug crawling across the road. Let me put that on social media. We also talked at great length about my issues, and he's going to start looking to see if he can hire an engineer to take his place, and he may at my dad's company. It mean we will lose a source of income, but he'll still be on the board, and will still be able to provide direction and expertise. But the day-to-day stuff will be dramatically less. Let's see how things go when all of a sudden less money's coming in. As his biggest fan in the world, really, you're his biggest fan in the world? I'm so glad he's not going to quit flying because I know he loves it, and frankly, seeing him in a flight suit is the sexiest thing in the world. In fact, we have a kid number 2 because I got to do a spouse incentive ride when he got checked out in the H60, and seeing him work the controls and talk so confidently on the radios made my ovaries burst. I would never want to take away that from him or me, frankly. As a huge missing piece of the puzzle, I finally got to see the signal messages that my sister-in-law was able to get from the guy in Mexico when she did get her PI job. I can say that he didn't exaggerate or lie about anything, and therefore there's no difference between his version of events and mine. However, his choice words were that of a guy who was thinking I was contacting him because there was a shot. For example, his message about the Wednesday night event says, I had such an amazing time with you in my room. Your company was just what I needed, and ill will never forget it. So I can see why my husband freaked out. The actual events were that he put his mouth down there on my body without consent, and after that he apologized. I stayed to make sure his crap mask didn't fill up with vomit. I don't want to minimize anything because I put myself in that position. Well, I think you put yourself in other positions, sweetheart. You're just not mentioning that. I'm trying to be light about this. He did offer to take me on a cruise in the Mediterranean in August. My sister-in-law joked that maybe she could pass for me and use the offer of a cruise with a real Miami real estate tycoon as leverage to get her boyfriend to finally propose. Oh, for goodness sake. I'm hoping that myself and Dumbass, one of my pet names for my husband, again, it sounds sweeter in person than I type it, can joke about the fact that I got offered a free cruise someday too. I get that some people will understand our humor, and that's okay. I really hope it comes back someday because it's one of my favorite things about us. Thank you again to those who are so thoughtful, sincere, and even a little direct. You probably saved our marriage. So, for those of you that are left, because probably a lot of you guys got pissed off and left the video, probably 1/3 into it, there you go. She pulled the whole crying song and dance, and this guy, Kate. Of course, he doesn't want to get a divorce because that's a big mess and drama and the kids and the income and alimony and child support and all that. But no, this is just a terrible... They were already going down the drain already. You could tell. She's unhappy. He's unhappy. His actions showed he didn't want to spend a lot of time with her. Okay? And then she pulled this stuff. And yeah, she had a genuine beef with him, not want to be around her. I get that, fair enough. But that doesn't justify her actions in Mexico, and I still don't buy her whole story here. And here's how I predict this is going to go down. A lot of times these stories go the same way. There's the falling out, usually with the cheating or something like that. There's the crying, begging, pleading, the I'm so sorry, and justification, and the guy takes her back. And then they try to rekindle a relationship. You know, they maybe go on a 2-week cruise or a trip to Hawaii, and they're hooking up all the time. But then eventually, when everybody comes down from to reality, then the husband's again thinking, she cheated on me. And then when she's on the phone, he's thinking, what's she doing? Who's she talking to? When she goes out with the girls, he's going to remember what happened the last time, right? When they're getting freaky, he's imagining that dude with her and what maybe she's living out. And then next thing you know, problems arise. Or oftentimes when a guy starts giving up things he enjoys to make his girlfriend or wife happy, because she's bitching and complaining, then next thing you know, sometimes, whether she realizes it or not, what else can I get him to give up with? Now it's something else. You see what I'm talking about here? And oftentimes the guy will cave. So I think this is just a bad idea. I think they were just winding down and it wasn't working, and you saw what happened. Again, she's no spring chicken. She was not naive. She knew what she was doing. She knew what he was doing. So this is just a terrible ending, but you guys obviously want to know what happens, and sooner or later you guys are going to send me updates. I just found this before and you guys let me know. Well, there you go. So this appears to be the end of the whole thing. Now, however, I wouldn't be surprised a year from now he does another update and says you guys were right, or this is what happened, or I just couldn't let it go. So we shall see. But anyhow, gentlemen, this is the update here. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just reading what happened here, but that's that. So keep your eyes peeled to see if there's another update. But this is what can happen to a lot of guys once the waterworks begin, the justification, and you get the point. So keep your eyes peeled, guys, if you see any updates down the road.